Khan has united the tribes of the steppes into a single warrior nation. To fulfill his vision of world conquest, he will need to invade the great Islamic kingdom of Central Asia, ruled by Shah Muhammad II. For once, Genghis does not unleash his horde. He sends merchants and spies. But he's met with a short and bloody response. The Shah summons the Mongol envoys and executes them. Big mistake. Very big mistake. Genghis is furious. He unleashes the Mongol horde. The Shah's armies flee to the fortified cities, thinking their high walls and deep moats will protect them.
Imagine the problem. Mounted archers up against walls 35, 40 feet high. How on earth are they going to get inside them?
Genghis has taken thousands of the Shah's people prisoner and has a typically brutal solution. He throws them into the moat to make a human bridge. To the horror of the Shah's people, thousands more prisoners are used as a human shield by the advancing Mongols.
The people in the cities would want to give up rather than kill their own people.
They are human shields.
This is completely brutal even by modern standards, but he is aiming at world domination, and it doesn't matter how many people die in the process.
But how do the Mongols break through Persia's massive city walls? The answer lies here in Merv, the jewel in the crown of the Shah's empire. These ruins were once a great metropolis.
Merv is one of the great cities of the medieval world. It reminds me a bit of London, actually, in contemporary society, in the sense of having all these different ethnicities. It's actually part of the cultural and intellectual revolution that's taking place within the Islamic world.
The mighty walls of Merv are 10 miles around.
The main town is protected by a wall that's very substantial. It's around about 15 feet thick, about 30 feet high.
It seems impregnable, but Genghis is a fast learner, and he studied the military technologies of the peoples he's conquered. His army now includes engineers skilled in siege warfare. But could they really build a weapon that could batter through walls 15 feet thick? A team of engineers are putting it to the test. According to Persian and Chinese sources, Genghis's superweapon is a trebuchet, a kind of medieval artillery.
The trebuchet was in its time right at the cutting edge of the arms race. It was like the atomic bomb. A large trebuchet would be shooting stone balls typically about that size, but there's records of them being as big as a Volkswagen.
Merv will test the trebuchet's power to the absolute limit. It must be able to fire over the moat which surrounds Merv and hit the walls, a distance of at least 85 feet. But is it up to the job?
3.
That's just 67 feet, nowhere near the target.
There's something wrong, because it's going straight up. You want it to go far.
Time for some math and a few adjustments. Looking good.
96 feet!
That's well over the magic number of 85 feet.
Once they got their range in, once they found a soft part of the wall, they would just keep pounding and pounding and pounding away at it.
So the trebuchet would have worked. But there's a question mark over whether Genghis used it at Merv. One ancient source says the city surrendered without a fight. The Persian writer Juvaini, writing 40 years after the siege, says the Mongol warriors simply rode around the city for 6 days, and the terrified citizens gave in and opened their gates. So did Genghis take Merv using just fear? Or his giant catapult?
The archaeological evidence shows that we actually have damaged buildings, destroyed buildings with catapult balls actually embedded in them.
This shows that Merv did suffer a devastating assault by siege weapons. But was it the Mongols? The answer was found beneath the rubble. Skeletons.
What we found was a young individual who's in their early 20s, female, and some of the bones of which you see here in the foreground: skull, teeth, the vertebrae, pelvis, and some of the leg bones. Next to them was a small child, probably around about 18 months to 2 years old, killed by the collapse of this substantial earth building on top of them.
This may well have been a young mother who dies protecting her baby. By scientific dating of pottery fragments found with the skeletons, archaeologists are now certain that these remains date from exactly the time of the Mongol invasion.
We're looking at a casualty of the Mongol siege.
The Mongols didn't just scare the city into submission, they smashed their way in. The historian Juvayni says the Mongols then marched the entire population of Merv into the desert and killed them. He says each warrior slaughters 300 people, leaving more than 1 million dead in total.
Genghis Khan was a master of terror tactics. He knew exactly how to strike terror into the hearts of his enemies, and he used that tactic throughout his life.
The Mongols have torn across Asia, leaving a trail of bodies. Persian accounts say they slaughter 3 million. The victories bring more and more female captives to feed Genghis's insatiable sexual appetite. And things are about to get worse when Genghis Khan wipes out a whole civilization.